Hey everybody, Frank Perrin here from Al-Asad, and today I wanted to stop in and have a quick little discussion slash kind of rant about something that I've been seeing pop up a lot lately. And I kind of wanted to nip this in the bud before it really becomes, where things on YouTube kind of spiral out of control, get out of hand, becomes commonplace in the sword community. And I wanted to address it because it's been a thing that's been on sword forums and popular YouTube weapons people for the longest time. And that is kind of judging Middle Eastern swords uh, and their effectiveness or tier based on, their physical characteristics. Uh, i.e., the biggest one is a lack of hand protection. So a lot of people wonder in the Middle East, why didn't they develop hand protection? Why didn't they develop complete hand protections the way European military sabers did? Well, it's quite simple. Because it's not European military sabers. This is a different culture. This is a different style of fighting. This is a different context, right? A lot of the times, these are people who specialize in European weaponry. So their experience is going to come with European fighting styles, European treatises, even the bulk of saber manuals we have that people do HEMA with are from the 18th, 19th, and 20th centuries. Okay, so these are so far removed from the types of sabers in the Middle East that they're speaking from experience with a weapon that is not designed the same, nor is it actually used the same. And its mechanics are different, the context in which they're using it is different, and its design is completely different. So, to kind of start this, let's look a little bit into the context of the Shamshir or the Killage. All right, so this weapon relies a lot on curvature. So this sword I have right here, this is a kind of Shamshir that was found in a lot of Iranian manuscripts in the Timurid period. You see it common across Turkey and some parts of Central Asia as well. It's a very common sword of the late 14th century, so I just kind of wanted to use this as a base. Swords like this have a curvature and they rely on a cut, okay? A draw cut. And that's what sabers are pretty good at. They're pretty good at cutting. And in order for a cut to be effective, right, you are drawing through. It's a draw cut. So if I'm targeting this helmet, this is someone's head, and I strike them, I'm going to hit them, and I'm going to pull through, hence delivering a cut. What I see in a lot of people doing military saber or any kind of saber, people in HEMA who pick up Middle Eastern swords, they never draw. They do this extended cut and they tap for their point and they come through. And they're trained, I think, to do these long casted extended cuts. But what's exposed when you do that? Your hand. So my question is, why aren't you cutting? Why are you hacking and tapping with a weapon that's intended to draw through? So it's not a hand protection problem, it's a usage problem. The next part of this, right, is looking at how it's paired, right? Usually with a sipar or a kalkan or some other kind of shield, depending on the region. Persian manuscripts state that you really shouldn't ever just use your saber alone, okay? You should always pair it with some kind of shield because you don't want to dull your edge, which shows how much they valued those cuts, all right? So, combining this with a few things, all right? I don't have to worry about my hand getting hit because it's not being left far enough out to be hit. If I'm fighting correctly with a sword of this curvature, these are draw-throughs. My hand is never in one place enough to be hit. Furthermore, these shields are used very actively. So if someone delivers a strike to me, I'm going to use my shield to move in, stop their sword from following through, blocking the draw cut, and then delivering another strike with an ascending cut. So, in my opinion, it is not that the sword itself is fundamentally flawed because it lacks a developed handguard. It's a user problem. People who do HEMA need to stop using Mideastern swords with the knowledge they have of Western swords. Because by the time we get to European saber manuals, right, it's very formalized. The cutting is a lot from the wrist, a lot from the elbow, right? They're actually also not extremely curved, right? So they're not relying on such a heavy draw through as, say, Mideastern swords are. So naturally, they're going to develop handguards because their strikes are left a little more open. So if you are a practitioner of Western saber and you want to understand how to use something like a shamshir or a killage without getting your hand hit, it's about the draw through. You look at a lot of Polish saber fighters. I've had my share of fighting with them. I don't see them getting hit in the hand a lot because you see Polish saber fighters drawing through a lot, right? And their hand guards don't start getting developed until a little bit later on. And the most time what they have is just a small knuckle guard on them, which isn't even that much of a guard. And they still get their hand hit. I've been fighting Shamshir and Sipar against other styles for the better part of the last 10 years, and I've never gotten my hand hit. Will it happen? I'm sure. But if you are fighting offline and keeping that hand moving the way it's supposed to, the size of your handguard doesn't matter. It's using the weapon. So I think we need to really stop judging a weapon based on its use by other cultures, especially if your point of reference is from a completely different culture. Again, I don't know much about sword and buckler because I don't practice European sword and buckler, so I'm not going to judge a European sword and buckler setup or weapon by a Middle Eastern context because I don't practice that weapon set and I don't know European culture as much. So that's just my quick little rant on this, is if you don't want your hand hit with a shamshir or a killage, don't leave it out to be exposed and learn how to use the weapon correctly. And we will see you next time on Bait Al-Asad, House of the Lion. Thank you.